you know what? I got to tell you, I don't think they expected this, so I'm glad that you chose to take an hour out of your day. See, you negotiated something. You made a commitment and you kept it. I'm sure there's people that signed up that never showed up. They made a different negotiation decision. So we have to hope, no, I'm sure you'll leave here saying, geez, I'm glad I took this time to do this. Because you took valuable time, I appreciate that. So my name is Wayne. Welcome to my world. I'm going to be in Wayne's world for about another hour or so as we get through this thing. Look at all those words on negotiation. You might see one that strikes you. Somebody said collaborative. Somebody said competitive. I heard nobody said compliant. We're going to talk about those things. A lot of situations. We'll talk about integrative versus distributive types of negotiations, just so you know my background. A lot of what I'm presenting today came from Harvard's program on negotiation. I spent a lot of my time reading, studying, learning from the people that do this in the corporate world, because a lot of my training is not just real estate. I was just in Phoenix and LA training for one of my corporate clients. So my real estate business is separate from my training from my corporate business, but I learned a lot in both places to help everybody. So who's this Wayne guy? How can he help me? Just quickly, since this is a few things I pulled up. The key thing is my phrase at the bottom. There's my mantra to get me started each day. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until I can do as good as my better best. Because best is perfection. I never demand perfection of myself or anybody in negotiations or in life. I just expect excellence. I'm hoping that nothing happens today that says, oh, he was perfect. But I'd rather you say he was amazing. I'm doing my better best because there's always room for improvement, as somebody said. So what's my goal? Got to have a goal. To fan your negotiation flame to such an intensity that the hot water of mediocrity in a negotiator is turned into the steam of outstanding success. Because hot water at 211 degrees is nothing but hot water. One more degree, you're almost there. Turns into steam. And steam powers engines, cleans floors, does all kinds of things. So I'm coming from a reading list. These are some of the main books that I've read thoroughly or maybe read quickly, but I've read them. There's one in red there from a great professor at Northwestern University. So you can take her class if you want to listen to her live. She's powerful. There's some of the key people. The number one book on the list is where it all started at Harvard. Bill Urey and Roger Fisher. Getting the yes, you know what I'm saying, right? Read the book. That started this whole mantra. But then all the other people at Harvard. Deepak Malhotra. We got the person that does the most on influence and persuasion. Bob Cialdini. And when you get done with these, then you can look at these.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you be able to send us those resources after the class?
Oh, it's going to be costly. I can't afford to send you all these resources. That's a lot of money.
Before we're going to start shooting photos.
How much did you pay for this today? Huh?
Free.
Yeah, okay. Well, you know, I mean, I might send you the list, but I can't send you the books. Because you see, there's the rest of them. That's why. But the best, you know the funniest one in that book? How to Negotiate Like a Kid. Oh, can you learn from that one? Because if you have kids and went to grocery stores, you know. You know. Talk about a broken record technique. They've mastered it before they knew what they were doing. Just a fun book to read. And then probably the most often used quote is from our President Kennedy about fear in negotiations. See, most negotiations is or has not been done properly because people have the fear of failure, or they don't know what they should know, or they don't know what to do. So I'm going to leave you today with my 7 powerful success persuasion principles. That should be more than enough. But before that, we got to cover this. Now you can count those if you want to, but you got to trust me. There's 28. And as I said earlier, I'm going to give you 28 tips and tactics that might help you build on something to take to the next level in the process. But before we do that, why is this so important? Why is this so important? Because the National Association of Realtors, and here's your testimonial to prove why you need to be a better expert negotiator. Every year they do a profile of buyers and sellers. There's probably one in your office someplace. Consistently, this is what we find. Over 90+% of the buyers felt they want good negotiations. But only 42% felt their agent did well. This number changes very little every year. It goes down, it goes up, but nothing drastic. You could use the same data from 2007, it wouldn't change much if you read that profile. So why do I do this? Why is my life built on training people across the country in negotiations? We have 70,000 graduates that have taken our class. We're the #1 designation of the Houston Association of Realtors for non-NAR designations. And we're #3 of all designations. GRI is #2, ABR is #1. And we'll pass GRI this year in Houston, 40,000 agents. I'm there so much I bought a house down there last month. Bottom line is the power of this data is why every buyer counseling session, every seller counseling session should see this. And then you show them the courses, the seminars, even today. Put this up, take the flyer, say, I took this seminar. Take one of my 8-hour credit classes. We're going to be offering some very soon. And Brian, Guarantee Rich, one of my major sponsors across the country, let alone Illinois. And so they know the power of the people that come into these classes. So let's very simply realize this data is critical to your success. So go to the NAR profile, pull it together. Find some articles on negotiation, there's loads of them out there. So, 28 tips and tactics. #1, exactly what you asked for, the tip. A powerful tip to negotiate. See, you've got a negotiation toolbox. You don't know what's in there, but I'll tell you one thing. Do you have hand tools or do you have electric powered tools or battery powered tools? My goal in life is travel around this great country, meeting great realtors like you, and giving them power tools, not just hand tools. You can do many more things with a power drill, a power saw, even in the kitchen. The blender. Push a button. I got a blender I'm afraid to use. It says whip, parfait, blend, mix. I don't know what the difference is. I don't know what frappe means. But it'll do something. I don't know how to frappe by hand. So the power tools is what I'm focusing on, like a laser beam. So let's start. Time. The negotiator who has time on their side. But see, do you have time on your side? And that's a great question. See, who should ultimately control your time in negotiations? The answer is right in the word time. Me. If you're not negotiating the time, you are on somebody else's control box. Think about it. When did you not be in control of time? When did you go on a listing presentation and they cut you, oh, we got to go, we got a meeting. Oh, I forgot, I got to go pick up my kids. If you didn't cover that in your bona fide listing appointment to get at least 2 hours or what you need, then you're asking for trouble. See, it's all time control. And Alan Lakin said it the best, the guru of time management. If you master your life, you master your time. If you waste your time, you waste your life. And boy, this is a business, people. Look around your office. This is a business where it's so easy to confuse activity with accomplishment. But back to negotiations. You got to get information. Boy, information gathering is the key. The more information you get, the better the decision you can make. If you don't have enough information, I would never think of working with another agent without Googling them or searching their website. I learned so much by looking at what's going on in their life online. I would never start talking to somebody in a negotiation without having some ammunition. And it's called the Johari window. We'll cover it in a few moments. Joe Luft and Harry Ingham. Because if I know more about you than you know about me, I'm in control. But if you know more about me than I know about you, you're in control. And there's a very simple word called success in real estate. You know how you spell success? You're thinking 2 C's, 1 C, 1 S? No. CONTROL. Negotiations are controlled successfully if you're in control. As soon as you're out of control, emotionally, factually, ain't going to work too well. Ain't going to work too well. Your choice. The key is the word we used already and somebody asked for, patience. That's the tip. Just think about that. If I just had time on my side in all my negotiations, information, and patience. I've got a kind of a crazy background a lot of people don't know about for a lot of reasons, but back in the late 60s, I had the privilege of being in front of Vince Lombardi at Lambeau Field with all the recruits to play football for the Packers. And Vince Lombardi said many things, but one thing he said was he never believed any of his teams ever lost a game. They learned from it, they never lost the game, they just ran out of time. If we could have played one more quarter, we would have won that Super Bowl. If we could have played one more 10-minute, actually, we would have one more chance. They never. So, do you have that same mindset? That's powerful. That's one very simple tip you can remember. How can you forget this? There's no way. You'll wake up tomorrow morning and you'll think of this. Won't you? Say yes.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Wow. So, you got other tools in your toolbox too. Obviously, I talked about Bob Cialdini, the art of persuasion. I actually do a Monday Facebook Live for the real estate company that I'm with, EXP. We have a whole bunch of speakers on Monday through Friday, great people. And I did one about a month ago on how to persuade before you persuade. I'm into persuasion principles before you persuade. So you got to set people up a little bit. You got to persuade them before you persuade them. Information, different types of negotiators: competitive, compliant, collaborative. There's a lot to be said. And we know the win-wins are the collaborative. And then you've got to take a look at the various complexities of negotiation. And that's another whole series of hours together. But more importantly, here's my second tip. 2 emotional reasons. And you've heard these a few moments ago, but I'm going to bring them up again real quickly now. Fear of loss is always a greater motivator than the opportunity for gain. Fear of loss is always a greater motivator than the opportunity for gain. You've got to be able to see people losing something before they get excited. That's why time is critical. Short deadlines are critical. Negotiating an offer that's a new offer. I don't like to use the word counteroffer. I hate that. You should be fine to use that word because it's misleading to people, I'm convinced. But I call them new offers. That new offer is going to have a short deadline. Sometimes 30 minutes. Let's get people on a mindset thing. We got to get this done fast. Fear of loss, greater motivator than the opportunity for gain. Number 3. 3 types of negotiators: the competitive, the collaborative, and the compliant. In one of my seminars, love to have you there, I bring up 3 1-ounce gold coins. And I ask people to go in teams and decide the best way for 2 people to divide those up. And come up with the best strategy to divide those 3 1-ounce gold coins. And they're sitting on a table. Now think about that. If you were with somebody else, what would you do? What would you say? How would you handle dividing those 3 gold coins up between 2 people? That's a challenge. And there's a competitive way, there's a collaborative way, and there's a compliant way. Tremendous thought process. So, is this you? Is it a fight all the time? Is it up front? We're going to have a fight? I see you're in a sling. I don't know if that's what happened. You became a competitive negotiator. But or are you this? One of those behind the back guys. I'll stab you or hit you when you're not looking. Is that your negotiation skill set? See, that's no good. Competitive negotiators don't win in the long run. That's a win-lose strategy. Win-lose strategy. Are you collaborative? That's what I present. That's what I practice. That's what I feel everybody should be. Or are you compliant? You just give in. There's a lot of agents who just give in. They're the best to negotiate with. They'll give up anything. They just want to get it done. They'll throw in commission. They'll do anything they can do. They'll figure it out. I don't like being a compliant person. I don't like being a competitive person. I don't feel I have to be. I don't feel I have to be. So let me stop for a moment and see, as we finish these first 3, the tip, the 2 problems of fear of loss, or the 3 types. Anybody have a quick thought you want to share? I triggered a question you want to ask.
Well, I think collaborative is the way to go, obviously. But I think that there's a nuance to that as well. Because you can't be like, you can give something in a negotiation that doesn't hurt you. Or you can give something that, you know, that that your client may not appreciate, you know, so.
Well,
Does
that's
that make sense?
about your client, let's go back a minute though. First of all, that was 11 seconds of silence. And some of you got a little worried. Some of you looked down like, you're going to call on me, I say nothing. Do you imagine? You just learned something. There's no greater pressure than the pressure of silence. Because people, I wasn't going to talk till somebody else did. I said any questions. And that's one of our drawbacks as negotiators. We can't wait to talk. We don't listen. Did anybody wake up today and not look into a mirror? What'd you see in the mirror? 2 ears, 1 mouth. We're built that way for a reason. Listen twice as much as you're talking. I asked a question as a negotiator. I expected an answer. 11 seconds. And let me tell you a true story. I'll tell you in detail after. I sat across from a president of an organization for 17 minutes after I asked my closing question. He talked first. Then we both laughed. And he said, "You weren't going to say a word till I did, were you?" I said, "Well, I got to be honest with you. 10 more seconds I probably would have." No, I wasn't really, but I made a joke about the whole thing. But I got my right answer. 17 minutes. I'm picking up my phone. He's looking at me. I'm looking down. I'm making notes. I asked a question. I expect an answer. That's negotiations, people. Give to get. You get by giving. That's a powerful concept you made. Anyone else? I won't ask for a long time. Quickie, yes or no? Quiet, be happy. 4 powerful concepts. We call it the ACE model, but it's spelled A-C-C-E because I can't spell very well. I have this crazy theory, my friends. If you can't spell a word 2 ways, you're not flexible. But that's me. So let's look at 4 components of effective negotiators. And Deepak Malhotra from Harvard Law School created this model, and it was expanded by a bunch of other people. It's to accumulate, which is gathering information. Negotiation is an information. Yes, my eye and tip. And I know how to get more information about you than you about me, or a listing, or market share, or whatever else it is. I can perform better with those who can't have that information. So do you always have enough information to make a powerful decision in the best interest of your client? Not of you, of your client. And how do you find your information? We have loads of data sitting in the MLS at MRED people don't use. Loads of data. We've got websites that are public websites that people don't use. So once you accumulate and gather information, the second step in the ACE model is to create value. This is where the UVP comes in that Brian asked about. And Scott Peppett out of University of Colorado has done a great job at talking about value creation. See, I want to be able to defend against that person that you asked about that is not nice, or the other person asked those questions. How do I defend against those negative people? That's the secret. How do I create my value? How do I create positive outcomes? How do I create things to get a competitive edge, but in a collaborative way? I've got to create value. This is 2023. What new value will you create for clients you didn't have last year? What value will you reinforce and be better at because you didn't do a good job last year? How can you prove you are some value? Do I get every job? Do I get every speaking engagement? No. Does any speaker get a speaking engagement? No. Because we all do different things and people have different price points. You gotta leave enough time to gather value in their mind, because see, it's what they perceive as value. You can put up some designations and some other things, but what does that really mean? What skill set do you have? See, I just showed you the NAR study. You have a negotiation study, you're taking negotiation seminars, you've pulled yourself away from people that weren't here today. Only you can say you took this seminar. The flyer's there, copy the flyer, put it in your booklet of material, your laptop. I took this seminar. I'm taking this designation. I'm good at negotiation. No, I'm really good at negotiations. I am a blah, 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 blah. That's the secret. Create value. Then once you create it, a lot of people have created a lot of value, but they don't claim it. They don't make it theirs. And J. Paul Getty said it so well. You don't want everything at once. If you take it all, people aren't excited. This little boy in Cincinnati, Ohio, would walk by a barber shop, and every day the barber would call him in and say, "Here, come here." He'd tell his patrons, "Watch this." He'd give the kid 2 shiny quarters in this hand and a crisp $2 bill in this hand. And he'd say, "Okay, you can pick either one you want." And it was very obvious. The money's here, $2 bills there. Kid always picked the 2 quarters and left. So see, this kid does this every day. This is crazy. Comes back a week later, new patrons, same thing. Sometimes he covered his hands, sometimes he moved them. But the bottom line, the kid always picked the 2 quarters. So one day, one of the patrons sees the kid at an ice cream shop. "Hey kid, aren't you the kid that gets to the barber shop? Let me ask you a question. You've been there for months, and you play this game every day. You come in and you take the 2 quarters. Let's take the $2 bills." Kid says, "If I take the $2 bills, the game's over." He understands 2 quarters every day. I don't need all of it because I'll get it once instead of taking 2 quarters 10 times. I got $5 now instead of 2. Claim value. And then the key to this whole business, that's why the ACE model is so powerful. Unless you're at a company, and I know I'm not, if your independent contractor agreement says this, you will get paid on the sales you almost made. You don't need my seminar. You don't need me. But I doubt if anybody here gets paid on the sales they almost made. I really do. So you got to execute. You got to execute. If you can't execute, nothing happens. Some people can't close. Some people can't close. They're great at presenting. They're great at their sizzle. They can't close. They can't ask the closing questions. They don't know the closing questions. I learned closings from the guru of closings, J. Douglas Edwards, one of the best corporate closers in the world. And he suggested people close 7 times before they get a yes. And I saw that and I said, well, that's a nice idea, but I think I got a better philosophy. And we're just seeing this number pop up all over, number 3, because of the recent disaster on the football playing field. You got number 3 all over. It reminded me about when I teach my closing seminar, about a person in real estate should close no more than 3 times. Always close no more than 3 times, always close no less than 3 times. Which means you close 3 times. Because if you close 3 times, you will not push people beyond repair. I'm not saying 4 or 5, 6 or 7 is not going to work. I'm saying after 3, you might be pushing them beyond repair. I said no. Don't you understand what no is? I said no 3 times. And they get angry. And you created a problem. So you should always close no more than 3 times. In Wayne's world, always close no less than 3 times. You get what you want most of the time, not push people beyond repair. 5, negotiation tactics. Because you see, even though I want to be a collaborative negotiator, a win-win, I understand something. The best negotiations start with a lose-lose. We're going to talk about a ZOPA in a few minutes, the zone of possible agreement. We both got to give up something, then we can win-lose, 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 win-lose till we win-win. Some people don't get that right. They don't want to throw in something to begin with. So it starts off on a bad, becomes competitive too early. But you need these win-lose, win-loses to get to the win-win. It's the struggles. Gosh, we just saw a tremendous negotiation study. If you watched how the Speaker of the House was elected. Whether you like him or don't like him. The negotiations and his time, information, and patience got him the job. Whether he keeps it, that's not the issue. There's so many things. I'm using that as a whole study now with some of my corporate clients for negotiations. Real estate people may not, I might use it, I'm not sure yet, but I'm using it with some corporate clients. The power of how that evolved in getting face to face and going back and not showing any stress or strain. Powerful concept. So much there. But what are competitive tactics supposed to do? They're supposed to help you win and lose. I talked about the kid negotiating for stuff at the store. It's a broken record. Oh, Mom, come on, please, I'll be good. Mom, I'll be good. Just this one, just this one, just this one, just this one, just this one. Broken record. Broken record. This one, I teach a course called Cultural Factors in Negotiating Real Estate. Understanding different cultures and how they work. And I use some research from Geert Hofstede, who created the Culture Compass. And Kiss, Bow, or Shake Hands is an old book that I still use that we've taught in real estate classes years ago for CD credit. Still a good book. And some cultures do this regularly. If you know you're working with this culture, you can expect this to be their tactic. They nibble. They're calling every day for something. By the way, we have the inspection. We want this. Oh, forgot to tell you, we want that. Oh, by the way, will they do this? Hey, will they throw in that? They're nibbling. They're nibbling, nibbling, nibbling. It's a powerful technique, and they learn to use it. They expect you to use it. If you don't nibble, they're embarrassed. What do you mean? You're accepting my offer? Don't you want to negotiate? And then this one, this is where it really gets good. How many people know what NLP is? NLP.
National Linguistic.
Neuro-linguistic programming. Powerful tool. Powerful tool. I'm big on neuro-linguistic programming, watching people's eye movements. Your eyes move 6 different ways. There's a whole study on this, NLP. My friend Tony Robbins does neuro-associative conditioning. He takes it to a different level. But a man named Bandler created NLP. Boy, when you're face to face with another agent or with a seller or buyer, you can learn so much by their eyes. Because see, your eyes don't lie. They move different ways. You can't control them. Years ago, we used to say, oh, see if their pupils are dilating. They're lying. Doesn't work anymore. Everybody's on drugs. Everybody's pupils are dilating. The bottom line is, NLP helps you understand this is saying yes, this is saying no, this is saying no, this is saying yes, and vice versa. Police use it. Years ago, I trained an entire city. Every employee took a class on NLP to work better as people at the desk, as police pulling somebody over. The entire city, they released them in phases. Not to impress you, to impress upon you the power of NLP. Read Bandler's books, take a seminar from somebody. Because this is why you need to know it. Some people bluff. Some people are good at bluffing. Some people tell their 8 clients, don't show any emotion when you're in this house. There could be cameras. There could be people listening. Don't get excited because it's going to cost you thousands. And I mentioned this one before, short deadlines. That new offer, as you gave them a new offer, it's that what you call a counter. You got 20 minutes. 20 minutes? Yeah, I'm going to get this done. 20 minutes, we only got 19 now, so you want to get back to your buyer. It's a 20-minute deadline. And this is the one that some people just can't control. Flinch. I mean, how do you flinch? What do you do? Is this you? Are you one of those pictures? When I really flinch, you know how I flinch? I show teeth and suck wind. Wow, what? That's your offer? I show teeth and suck wind. I got to get animated. See, I'm selling this, isn't it? It's a competitive tactic. So, what puts together then, as we move forward on this, what's the framework of a skilled negotiator? We started to give you some foundations because, you see, we know in life, watch them build a house. What do they excavate? A basement. They go down maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 feet, probably the most. Go into Chicago, watch them build a skyscraper. They dig a hole so deep you can't even see the bottom. And guess what? The deeper the foundation, the taller the building. Catch this. The deeper your negotiation foundation, the better you're going to be in negotiating. The deeper your foundation is, the better you're going to be. I'm asking you to start today building a deep foundation. Gave you 400 books. Pick one. Buy Audible. I don't care how you read it, listen to it, or do it, but you got to learn the skill set that works effectively, not efficiently. And so one of the key frameworks of a skilled negotiator is based on the concept of client qualifiers, or asking questions. Asking questions. See, there's power in negotiations. POWER. Psychology of win-win equals results. That's all I'm asking. I believe you want to be a power negotiator. POWER. Psychology of win-win equals results. The psychology of win-lose does not equal the same results. The psychology of lose-lose means a bunch of wasted time. How much time, energy, and money have people wasted on a deal that fell through? On an unsaleable listing gave to somebody else. Wow. So, a couple quick thoughts. This is hard to think about right now, but you can read about it later. The zone of possible agreement. See, seller has a minimum they will take. Seller has a maximum they want. Buyers have a price they'll pay as low and as high as they will go. Now, if I can get in that green area in my negotiations, it takes me time. It takes me almost a half a day in my 2-day seminar to teach this open. But if I don't have a green area, if my seller's lowest number is not close to my buyer's highest number, I don't have a ZOPA, do I? I got a NOPA. Ain't nothing going to happen. Ain't nothing going to happen. Might as well close that down and go on to Plan B. And Plan B is a BATNA. Harvard study. Best alternative to a negotiated agreement. This is purely out of Harvard. We've just adapted it for real estate agents in our training. A lot of people don't know their second best alternative. And that's why they struggle in negotiations. So you can read all about BATNA all day long. But the key is asking questions. Would you mind shuffling these cards? Just mix them up like you think they should be mixed up. By the way, one of my clients in Nebraska, Woods Brothers, they've got playing cards with their agents' names on. Nice little tool because people play cards. They got red cards and blue cards. And they have 52% market share in Lincoln, Nebraska. 52% market share. What do you do?
Shuffling cards.
Sure, you got them shuffled?
I'll do it again.
Okay, I need somebody who knows the decks of cards. Anybody know what the cards are like? Someone ask some questions. Please help.
What would you like to know?
Well, let's start with a very simple question because we get progressively gutsier. How many colors are there in a deck of cards?
2.
Great. What are those colors?
Red and black.
Red and black, okay. And do you have a preference of color, red or black?
No,
Which color would you like to give her, red or black?
whichever one she wants.
What color do you want, red or
Red.
black? Okay, so you got the black cards.
Thank you.
Now, there's how many different types of black cards, suits, as we call them?
There are 4 suits,
Yeah, but black
Two.
two. And they're called?
spades and clubs.
So I'm asking questions. Keep track. So, do you like the spades or do you like the clubs?
Personally, I like the spades.
Okay, so you got to give somebody the clubs.
I'll give.
He's just giving you some clubs. He's a salesperson giving you some clubs. Now, do you know about cards?
A little bit.
Do you know how many cards there are that are clubs?
13.
13? Okay. Well, let's make it easier. There's picture cards and number cards, right? And what are some picture cards to you?
King, queen, jack,
Okay.
joker.
Okay, great. And all the other ones are number cards. So I've made a pile of cards here. Number cards and those picture cards. Which pile would be bigger?
The number cards.
Okay, so they'd be ace through 10, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, can you pick any 5 of those? Just pick any 5.
Ace, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Get at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pick 3 of those. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Pick any 3 of those. 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9.
5, 8, 9.
5, 8, and 9. Wow. Pick any 2 of those.
5 and 9.
That leaves the 8 of clubs, correct? Somewhere in my pocket is the 8 of clubs. Would you agree?
Yes.
How would you like me to pull it out of my pocket? The first card I give you or the 52nd card I give you?
The 52nd.
No.
They're not 52. The first.
Now you change your mind?
Yes, I am.
What's the card? What was the card? It's a business card.
Oh, jeez. The
That's a neat way to give a business card, huh?
Eight of
Yeah.
Clubs.
Yeah.
I think I got all business cards. Oh, look what that is. 8 of clubs.
Correct.
What did I do?
Gave her the 8 of clubs.
Why? Because she asked for it. How did I get her to ask for the 8 of clubs? I asked her questions, didn't I? I asked her at least 17 questions. You can have anything in life that you want. Help other people get what they want. You want the 8 of clubs, you got the 8 of clubs. You want me to pull out 51 ahead of time, I would have done that. Whatever you need. See, we're here to serve. Selling is serving. S-E-L-J-E is the word it comes from. So if you're not asking enough questions, and most people don't, you don't make good decisions. So we've got to ask questions. Ask lots of questions. And you'll get much better decisions. And so I think probably the best advice I could give you is when having excellent intelligence, you have little chance of being persuasive beyond random luck. But if you understand with enough intelligence, luck is an aptitude, not an attitude. L-U-C-K. I'll tell you that story later in the future. And so with good intelligence, here's the secret. With good intelligence, you can achieve incredible results. If I know more about you than you know about me, or about the situation, I'm in better shape. I know a house in Northbrook where there was a suicide and murder over 20 some years ago. I'm sure maybe the owners don't even know they're living there now, probably 30 years now. Every time I drive by, that's where the killing was. So the guy, killed himself and murdered the other people in the house. Some people don't know that. Now, questions, open-ended. Who did you, what did you, where did you, when did you, why did you, how did you, which did you? They start with a W. Who, what, when, where, which, why, how. How is just who spelled it. Who, what, when, where, why, how. How many of those are you asking? But above all, at some point, you got to close the deal. You got to use the yes/nos. The trial close, the final close. That leaves me to understanding when to close and with who to close based on what you know, and that's the Johari window. Joe Luft and Harry Ingham created this. Have you seen this before?
Yes.
Yes. Some of you have seen this stuff. I'm glad they reinforced it. I'm just making this stuff up. This is just, Wayne's World is a lot of other people helping me contribute to Wayne's World. But you've got to understand how the Johari window works in communications and asking questions. Because you don't know more about me than I know about you if you don't ask questions. Likes like likes. So our clients expect effectiveness first, efficiency second. Now, so much of negotiations, I believe, and I feel strongly about, is understanding how to use both sides of the brain. See, I'm a very much of a right brain person. My left brain is not. We did a study at the board here. Katie, our president, had us do a disc profile for all the board members. There were 12 of us. We did this extensive study from the Al Abelson group out of Texas. Dr. A is a powerful guy in the business world of doing those kind of studies. And I was the only, well, you took the study. I was the only person of the 12 that was a persuader. Only one out of all the people. I'm 100% dominant and 99% influencing. The only one of the 12. Interesting. But I knew that. I just reinforced it in the process. But see, because I have that, see, I don't have much of a left brain. The left brain is kind of where the part is. Little left, a lot of right. So I part my hair this way. Most of my left brain. I'm into a lot of feelings. I'm not into a lot of logic. I'm not a logical person. I know I need to be more logical. That's why you got to cross over. So you have to look at your brain. Your brain's a powerful tool. But as you see, we all have to cross over. I have to go into my logical sometimes as I'm negotiating. But see that bridge you go over? This is the part you got to train your brain. We talk about training the brain. That's called the corpus callosum. That's how you know this stuff too. You guys know a lot of stuff. I'm glad I'm here. Corpus, this is how you move from one side of your brain to the other. And some people move better. They can cross the bridge better, faster, or they're not afraid to cross the bridge. Some people are afraid to cross the bridge. They want to stay left brain versus right brain. I got to understand people are left brain. Those people. My friend Harvey McKay, a fellow speaker, I met Harvey McKay years ago, wrote many books, How to Swim with the Sharks While Being Eaten Alive, owns an envelope company in Minnesota. #1 envelope company in the world. Sells envelopes. He makes every salesperson complete a 66 questionnaire on all potential new clients. They have 30 days to complete those 66 questions. Hobbies, religion, colors, kind of car, where the kids go to school, sports, tile a house, cul-de-sac, 2-story, 1-story, where they work, where they eat. If they can't complete that, some other salesperson gets that account. They gather information to make likes like likes. And you have some real estate companies that still will do a profile to see what agent best matches that person on a referral. We don't see as much anymore because referrals are different. But the sameness principle is based on a very powerful theory. One of the reasons I hardly ever have tenants leave my properties. I've got some tenants in my properties 30 years, 18 years, 22 years. And they got relatives there. I got some multi-unit buildings. Everybody's related. 18-unit building, they're all related. Cousin, sister, son, used to live with his mom. Now he's got his own place, married. Brother and sister moved back. They got their own place. They're in one big building. Likes like likes. Likes like likes. The secret to that whole process of my investment seminar is to try to find tenants that are like other tenants. And I give them referral fees for doing it legally. Then the sound logic. This is where people buy on emotion and justify on logic. People buy on emotion and justify on logic.
What was the first S though?
Ooh, somebody will tell you.
Same.
Interest.
Self-interest motive.
Thank you.
No problem. So, what's your vision after today? Let me share 2 of my mentors' philosophies. One you've heard already. This gentleman helped me from almost day 1 of my speaking career. I had the pleasure of going to his place in Dallas. He came to Northbrook. We became great friends because of another friend of mine, and I learned so much from him about just life, but also how to be a speaker on the circuit. His quote is this: you get everything in life that you want. I've said it already. So enough other people get what they want. And that's all we have to do. Help a buyer buy and a seller sell. That's all it is. Zig Ziglar. Sorry to see him be gone, but he was a tremendous asset to me in my growth where I'm at today. And then I learned how to sell from this master. There's nothing special about special people. It's not who they are, it's what they do that makes them special. My mentor, Floyd Wickman, taught me how to sell. I never would have had 67 listings in 70 days if it wasn't for Floyd Wickman, I guarantee you. So, Indira Gandhi says it nice. In negotiations, you can't shake hands with a clenched fist. So, I pretty much hit what I wanted to do. You're welcome to stay if you want. I'll share my CNE class that's coming up soon on how to be a certified negotiation expert. But here's some books I think would be some of the best to read. And they're in that list, but I kind of put them up there to take a screenshot of. And the newest one that I love a lot is Stephen M.R. Covey's The Speed of Trust. Now, Stephen M.R. Covey is the son of Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This is his son. The Purple Cow by Seth Godin teaches you how to brand yourself and make yourself unique. That's a good book for branding. And the other ones are just, influencing. Bob Cialdini's The Expert. And then you've got Metaphorically Selling, which is, I show you Lise Thompson's book. These are really the keys. If you're going to read 8 books, these are the books to read. And I'd love to have you in a seminar in the future where you read those free books. So, your burning questions. Yes.
How long ago did you kind of get on this get into this sort of segment of, were you in real estate before you got into?
No, I've been a corporate trainer. I got into GRI by accident. GRI was 1 week, a full week, for 3 times. And there was a circuit of trainers across the country. We would just travel. We'd go from this state to this state to this state. And I was recruited by them because somebody saw me in the corporate world. And so after 2 years, somebody said, now, where's your office at? I said, I'm in Illinois. How many agents? I said, what do you mean agents? They don't have, you don't have a real estate license? I said, no. You can't keep teaching GRI across the country without a real estate license. So I went to a community college for $50. And here I am, $50, the community college. And it's to keep my corporate clients, but I was a corporate trainer. And I've had a lot of businesses. I learned a long time ago. I mean, this is just a sideline, but I read Andrew Carnegie's material years ago that probably still holds true. 90% of the self-made millionaires own businesses and own investment real estate. There's my secret. I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier. I just own businesses and own residential real estate, income property. So no, it just happened as a result of I had to get a license to keep teaching GRI because it was a good gig. Travel around the country. And then Coldwell Banker grabbed me for training, and then been through other companies, and life is good. And here I am at NSBAR, and you guys got a wonderful board. We're the premier board. Look at this facility if you haven't been here. Jeff kind of spearheaded this along with the board members to make this happen. And the power of what goes on here is amazing to me. But that's, more importantly, any burning questions about negotiations? I don't like to talk about myself. But anything else you want to know about me? No, it's good. Yes.
When is your next course being taught, and are there any other courses that you advise for us to take?
Isn't that amazing? You just said that. Look what I put up. Hoping to do one in Northbrook, March 1st or 2nd. Brian is one of my sponsors, and then Jeffrey Marks is going to be a sponsor. We need to find a location. And all my courses have 8 hours of CE through some real estate school. And then I'm going to be in Chicago at the Federal Savings Bank. They're a big supporter of mine downtown, Tammy Ajar and Bernie Miller. In Oak Brook, probably at the Inland corporate headquarters, which is where I usually go. And then in Barrington, O'Hare, Glenview in April. I'm not sure where those will be yet. I'm trying to build some locations and sites.
Where's your website?
I don't really have a website.
You don't have a website?
No, that's my uniqueness.
People don't find you so fast.
That's right. You don't want a lot of riffraff finding me. They could be stalking you. There could be all kinds of problems. Yeah, I know. I'm not a website person. I'm a hands-on, face-to-face, eyeball to eyeball, belly to belly.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
That's how I work.
But I would tell you that if you need to know information about Wayne, you can ask me, and I can always get to him.
This is my agent. I just hired him.
And he gets a fee, right?
No.
Obviously deserves a fee. But anyway.
You better negotiate better. I'll negotiate for him. He needs a fee.
Okay. But more importantly, there's loads of other, there's an NAR designation. They copied ours. This is a certified negotiator designation. They have RENE negotiation. We're 2 full days. They're just like, I don't know what they have, but it's another, any place you can go, there's loads of people that teach negotiations. We just have the number one, 80,000 grads. As I said, in Houston, we're the number one non-NAR designation, and they have 40,000 members. And we're number 3 of all their designations, with ABR being number 1 and GRI being number 2, and we'll pass GRI this year. They have 40,000 agents, so we can extrapolate. We're probably one of the top. And I know we've got, like in Houston, almost 4,000 grads, and NAR has like 600 grads in their class. So the comparison is not to use, but to show the difference between what we do for 2 days. Plus we have unlimited website, coaching program, a lot of other things people can do. So, but I'm here. I'm easy to find. Yeah.
I have a question for you. How many people is your maximum for a class?
The largest class I've ever had was Thad Wong would bring me at least 90 people. So we used to use the Orrington Hotel in the ballroom in Evanston. They got 115, and Carr had over 100 at one time. Those are the largest. I prefer 60 tops because I do a lot of role playing. We have 150 scripts, a lot of role playing, a lot of activities, and a lot of case problems and things to give them the feel. See, we're into practice, drill, and rehearse. And that's one thing that's missing in many offices. We practice, drill, and rehearse. I teach tracks. I don't teach scripts. I teach tracks. Stay on my track, and you will be successful. I don't care what you say or how you say it. Yes, there's better ways, but let's give you a track. The LIST track. Lead in, investigate, show and sell title. How do I do that? I walk up to a house. I ring the bell. I go on a 45-degree angle showing him my name badge on my right side. I smile. I pay him a compliment. I take him to the kitchen table. I break the ice and think I'm on a safe island. I will do that every single time in my life. What I say each time could be different. I don't teach scripts, I teach tracks. We don't teach scripts, we teach tracks. It's got to become your words. You can't sound phony. You can't sound phony. So if you know the track, objection handling, cushion, question, ice, and handle, close, cushion, question, ice, and handle, close. That's the 5-step track. I'm always going to go through those 5 steps. What I say is going to be different. I love tracks because a train on a track never gets derailed. You get to their destination. It's when you get off track, the train's got a problem. That was a good analogy, by the way. See, metaphors, analogies, and similes. Wow. So anyway, that's where we're going to be, and we're just going to get some dates set up. March looks like it might be in downtown Northbrook. We'll see. We'll find a place. Don't worry about it. But and I'm sure we've got your name. Ryan will make sure we get a hold of you. I'll make sure we get a hold of you through our marketing, etc. So it'll happen, and then thumbs pop up, and then companies. A lot of times, companies like me to come in. Like we do a lot of companies. Like Thad just wants his ad property. In the past, wanted just his ad properties agents. He didn't want to have anybody else in the room. That's all he wanted to do.
Wayne,
Yes.
will you put up on your Facebook page when that Northbrook class or where it's going
Oh
to
yeah,
be?
my Facebook page. I don't do a lot on Facebook, but you follow it. Yeah, it's there. I'll put it up. Hopefully, I just want to say thanks for being a great audience. I'm focused. You got my good, better, best. There's my email. You can always email me, call me, whatever works best. But you know what I'm going to say is, this is now going to be your turn. You see what I just did? Our goal, Katie's goal, our board goal, is to have people like you come in and talk about what you do. We're looking for other people to do a Friday Fuel. So you've got some skill set you can share. Something you're doing, a form you share, discussion, a conversation, a way you do business, how you market, how you promote. So please get serious about doing this. And gosh, they'll help you with a PowerPoint if you need it, I'm sure. It's just a talk. I mean, I think the first one was kicked off last month and there was not nearly as many people, right? And it was a nice conversation in the process. So, yes.
I'm going to be hosting the Friday Fuel on how to be better at social media and get noticed on social media. What do you do to prepare for a talk? Because this is quite a seminar to follow up. So.
Oh no, don't compare me.
Well, I'm just
You-
curious. I'm just curious. What do you do in general? You're gonna hold the course. you're gonna
I
do a
don't
talk.
sleep the night before. And if people say that they don't get nervous speaking, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. Years ago, if my wife wasn't with me, because I was traveling a lot, my wife had a choice. She could travel with me around the country and be with me and go out, because the corporate world, they take you out to dinner. Like Pepsi takes me out to New York. We go to plays. General Electric's good to me. But anyway, we had a rule of thumb that said, if you want to come, you're with me. If you don't want to come, like Missoula, Montana, she didn't want to go to Missoula, Montana, Lambros Real Estate. I'd give her the money from the airfare to use to go shopping while I was gone. That was our fair trade. Either come with me or get money to go shopping. And the smart negotiator she was, she always bought me something if I gave her money. We learned a lot from her. And she'd always call me in the morning. I'm in Missoula, Montana. I get a phone call. Good morning. And she knows I'm nervous. She says, hey, just want to let you know they're going to love you. She always said, they're going to love you. Just go in there and, do your thing and just be natural. Be you. That's all you got to do. You can make mistakes. I made mistakes. They're going to have so much editing on this thing before you won't know that was me talking by the time you see that at NSBAR. I hope. But no, don't worry about that. Just do your thing. You've got something to offer. We all have something to offer. And that's what this is about. If you get 5 people, that's good. If you get 8 people, that's great. If you get a room twice as big as this, they're going to move someplace else. In the summer, we can do a big one outside under a tent. But don't think you can't give back to this organization by just listening. Wow. And that wasn't even an RPAC speech. It was another whole world with me. So listen, what else do we have? Anything else you can tie up a loose end on? Or
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Wayne.